Okay students, today we will start machine. Now first of all we will go through all these important points. These are important terms that are used in machine to understand the concept of machine. First of all, what is a machine? Now machine is a device by which we can overcome a large resistive force by applying a small force, or by which we can apply our effort in a convenient direction or in a convenient point, or by which we can have a gain in speed. Understand? So it is a device. In fact, we can say a machine makes our work easier. And how it make it easier? So for that we will understand the function of machine. Now in the definition only the functions of machines are given. So what are the functions of machine? A machine can act as a force multiplier. So that means it acts as a force multiplier, means in fact it multiply force. That means we apply a less force, that is our effort, we give less effort, and the machine can overcome a large force. That means, say for example, we can say a car jack. You know, when we have seen a car jack that is used to lift a car, when it is put under the car and then it is turned, the handle is turned, the car slowly, the jack rises up slowly, and the car also is lifted up. So easily a car can be lifted by one person by applying a jack. So that means you can say it is acting as a force multiplier. Otherwise, if the person does not do not use that jack, he cannot single-handedly just lift the car. So therefore, we can say that a car jack is a type of machine which is acting as a force multiplier. There are other machines also we will discuss later which act as a force multiplier, like pliers. You know, pliers used to tighten or loosen a screw or nut bolts, in fact. So in that case also that pliers is acting as a force multiplier. So that's the first function a machine can do. It can act as a force multiplier. The second important function is that it can act as a speed multiplier. It can also act as a speed multiplier. That means multiply speed. You have seen gears of car, first gear, then second gear, third gear and fourth gear, that is used to increase the speed of the car. I mean, especially the second, third and fourth. The first gear generally is used as a force multiplier. So that means it can act as a speed multiplier by increasing the speed. Like a scissor. A scissor also acts as a speed multiplier, because you can understand that we can swiftly cut papers and cloth with scissor, and the scissor acts very swiftly. So that means it is acting as a speed multiplier. The third function is that by using a machine we can use our effort in a convenient point. So we can use our effort in a convenient point, like you know, the pedal of a bicycle. You know, in a bicycle generally the pedal is here, and this is the chain of the bicycle. So when we rotate this pedal, the chain also rotates, in fact revolves, and this side in the wheel rotates. That means this is the convenient point. We are applying our effort here and here. So this is the convenient point where we are applying our effort. Now why this is a convenient point? Because if we apply, instead of here, if I apply the effort at this point, that will be a very inconvenient point. Because when we apply our effort here, we have to use a large effort, we have to give a large force to rotate this. But instead of that, if the point of application of force is at a greater distance, we have done turning force. So the greater the distance, more will be the turning force. So the greater the distance from the point, more will be the turning force. So we can say that instead of this point, this 2 point is a convenient point where we can apply our effort. So we can use our effort in a convenient point by applying a machine. Another example of convenient point is a screwdriver. You know, a screw generally, a screw head, if I am talking about, it look like this. Now unless we apply our effort at this point, the screw do not rotate, easily. You find difficult to tighten or loosen a screw. Why? How much force you apply here, here is very difficult. But instead of that, if I put the screwdriver in this groove, and then we can easily rotate and we can easily tighten the screw or loosen the screw. So that means the screwdriver is also a machine that is used to apply our effort in a convenient point. Okay, so that's the third function we can say is to use our effort in a convenient point. And the fourth function is that we can also use our effort in a convenient direction. Convenient point, this one, and also we can apply our effort in a convenient direction by using some machine. Very good example of this, a single fixed pulley. You can see that when we draw a bucket from a well by applying a rope, and then in this case what we have to do, we have to use our effort in the upward direction to lift the bucket from the well. Now it becomes pretty much inconvenient to lift anything against the gravity, and we get tired very easily. So that is an inconvenient direction, you can say. So that's not a convenient direction because we are going against the gravity. But instead of that, now if I apply a pulley, this is a single fixed pulley, the pulley is fixed. And now, if I turn the rope around the pulley, now I can apply our effort in this downward direction, which is a convenient direction towards the gravity. So that is what this pulley has done. It has changed the direction of the effort from an inconvenient direction to a convenient direction. So that is the fourth function. So finally we can see that a machine can act as a force multiplier, it can act as a speed multiplier, it can be used to use our effort in a convenient point, and it can also be used to use our effort in a convenient direction. Understand? So, that is what I told you, that is also the definition of a machine, that a machine is a device by which we can overcome a large resistive force by applying a small force. That means it is acting as a force multiplier, or by which we can have a gaining speed. That means it is acting as a speed multiplier, or by which we can use our effort in a convenient point, or by which we can use our effort in a convenient direction. Okay, understand? Okay, next is we'll see about these terms that we generally use in machine. That's the load, effort, mechanical advantage, and velocity ratio. Now load means the resistive force that we overcome by using a machine. The resistive force that is to be overcome, that is called the load. Say, just now I show you that bucket is the load. In the bicycle, the wheel is the load, because by rotating the pedal of the bicycle, we are actually overcoming the load. So that means the bicycle, that wheel is the load. While we are lifting a bucket of water, the bucket is the load. So that is called load. It is the resistive force that has to be overcome, that we overcome by using a machine. So since load is the force, is the resistive force that we overcome, so its SI unit is Newton. So its SI unit is Newton. Similarly, effort is the force given to the machine to overcome the load. So that means the applied force, the force that we apply to the machine to overcome the load, that is called effort. That means simply we can say that the bucket, for example, is the load. So this is the pulley. So this is the load, and the force that we are applying to lift the bucket, that is called effort. Okay, so the force which is needed to overcome the load by using the machine, that is called effort. So the SI unit of effort is also naturally it's Newton. Okay, so understand? So this is about load and effort. Next is mechanical advantage. Now this mechanical advantage is the ratio of load by effort. So the ratio of the load to the ratio of the effort is called mechanical advantage. Okay, now since it is a ratio, it has no unit. So mechanical advantage have no unit. Next is velocity ratio. Now velocity ratio, generally say VR, is the velocity of the effort, is the ratio of the velocity of effort to the velocity of load. So velocity of effort to the velocity of load is known as velocity ratio, and naturally it is also a ratio, so it also has no unit. So velocity ratio have no unit. Now let the displacement of effort in time t is equal to dE. Suppose displacement of the effort, suppose the effort is moving in time t, the displacement, the distance moved by the effort in time t is dE, and the displacement of load in time t is dL. Okay, you can understand from this diagram. Again I am showing you that pulley and bucket diagram. Now suppose the bucket is this, and this is the effort, and this is the load. Suppose I pull this effort from here to here, and the time is t. So this distance we are telling as displacement of effort, and the time from here to here, time is how much? T. Understand? Now as long as the effort is moving from here to here, that is in time t, the load will also move in the same time t. And suppose the load is moving from here to here. So this is the displacement of the load in time t. Understand? So the displacement of the effort to, and this is the displacement of the load. And the displacement of the effort from here to here, how much time it has taken? T. And the displacement of the load from here to here, so when the bucket moves from here to here, so that is displacement of the load dl, this distance, and naturally the time is t. Okay, so that is what we have taken here. So let the displacement of the effort in time t is equal to dE, and the displacement of the load in time t is dl. Then we can say velocity ratio is equal to dE by t by dl by t. Is it? Because you know velocity means displacement by time. So this is the velocity of the effort, well, that is the displacement of effort by time, divided by velocity of the load. Velocity of the load means displacement of the load by time. Now we can say that the time and time will get cancelled. So finally we get dE by dl. So that means velocity ratio therefore is also defined as the displacement of effort to the displacement of load. Understand? So we can define velocity ratio two ways. The first definition is that it is the ratio of the velocity of the effort to the velocity of the load, and the second is that it is also defined as the displacement of the effort to the displacement of the load. Okay, understand? Okay, now we will understand a very important concept, that is of mechanical advantage. Now, what is the use of mechanical advantage? Why we calculate the mechanical advantage, or we should know the mechanical advantage of a machine? You know, the mechanical advantage can be equal to 1, can be less than 1, or mechanical advantage can be greater than 1. Now, what is the significance of this? Now, try to understand. You see what is, I have written here, mechanical advantage is 1. Now, if in a machine the mechanical advantage of a machine is 1, that means we can understand that that machine is neither a force multiplier nor a speed multiplier, but is used to change the direction of an effort in a convenient direction. Now, why is that? Now, suppose when the mechanical advantage is 1, I can say load by effort is equal to 1, right? Now, load by effort equals to 1, that means what? Load is equal to effort, right? So that means we are giving as much effort as much is the load. So therefore there is no gaining force. So that means, then what is the advantage of using that machine? Now, those machine which has a mechanical advantage 1, it is neither a force multiplier nor a speed multiplier, but it is used to change the direction of effort in a convenient direction. Just now I have shown you that pulley. So in that case, what happens? Now, we are just neglecting frictions and all in this, but there are some friction for that, which we have to use some extra effort. But see, in this case, the load is always equal to effort. Means effort is always equals to load. So if the load is 10 Newton, then we have to use a 10 Newton only to lift this, a 10 Newton force. So that means effort is equal to load. So that means there is no gaining force. But what is the advantage of this machine? Instead of using the force in this upward direction, we are using our effort in the downward direction. So that is the meaning of this. If a machine, the mechanical advantage is 1, so that means if mechanical advantage is 1, then load by effort equals to 1, then load is equal to effort. So load is equal to effort. And if load is equal to effort, that means it is neither a force multiplier nor a speed multiplier, and it is used to change the direction of effort in a convenient direction. Understand? So that is mechanical advantage equals to 1. Now, if the mechanical advantage of a machine is greater than 1, then it acts as a force multiplier. Again see here. Now, if mechanical advantage is greater than 1, now mechanical advantage greater than 1 means load by effort is greater than 1, and therefore we can say that load is greater than effort. So you can understand what is the meaning of this. Load is greater than effort. That means effort is less than the load. You understand? So that means if effort is less than the load, naturally there is a gain in force. We are giving less effort and we are overcoming a greater load, a greater force, a greater resistive force we are overcoming by applying a small force. Understand? So that means the mechanical the machine is acting as a force multiplier. Okay, so if mechanical advantage greater than 1, then it acts as a force multiplier. Similarly, if mechanical advantage is less than 1, the machine acts as a speed multiplier. So that means what? Now if load by effort is less than 1, so that means the load is less than effort. Now if load is less than effort, that means we can say that effort is greater than the load. So you can understand, if effort, that is the input force, is greater than that load, the load will move at a high speed. Is it? Understand? Because we are applying a greater effort compared to the load. So that means the effort is greater than the load. So naturally a large force is applied, that is the effort, to move a small force. So when a large force is applied to move a lesser force, that means that load will move to a higher speed. So therefore we say that if mechanical advantage of a machine is less than 1, it acts as a speed multiplier. Okay. Next is about work input and work output. No machine does the work by itself. Some work has to be done on the machine, then only the machine can work. So the work done on the machine by the effort is called work input. So when we are applying an effort, that means we are applying some force. And since we are applying some force, some work is done. So that work done on the machine by the effort, that we say as work input. And work output means what? That is work done by the machine on the load. So naturally the work that is done by the machine to overcome the load, that is called work output. Okay. And simply efficiency means it's the ratio of the work output by work input. So efficiency actually means work output by work input. And if you want to convert into generally, so when we do work output by work input, it comes in fraction. And if I want to convert that into percentage, we use work output by work input into 100. So it gets converted into percentage. For example, if efficiency is generally denoted by this letter N, and if the efficiency of a machine is 3 by 4, so that means the machine is 75% efficient. So that means we say the efficiency of a machine is 75%. Understand? So that is about efficiency. Efficiency means work output by work input, and if you want to convert into percentage, we do multiply by 100. Okay, understand?